What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and this is a classic get woke, go broke scenario here for A&E. Now, back in early June, every company was scrambling to prove that they were in fact virtuous and remove all elements of programming that might feature police in a positive light. Now, the show Cops absolutely has had some issues in its past in the way that it films and coerces people to sign forms. And these are issues that I'd be willing to discuss. But that's not why they canceled the show. They were censoring anything that could possibly make the police force in America look good and look helpful. They only wanted to highlight the absolute worst. And covering these topics, by the way, often puts content creators in the yellow box, the box that YouTube says, we don't want you to cover this. That's why I'm glad to have this video sponsor Superfans, which is a First Amendment supporting Patreon alternative. This video is sponsored by Superfans. Now, you know I'm a huge First Amendment supporter and a supporter of new technology, and for once I actually get to do an ad for both. Now, we know the First Amendment has been under attack by big tech, and it's only going to get worse. Cancel culture is in full swing, and many creators, including myself, are under constant threat of deplatforming and demonetization. Superfans is a new platform that supports public and civil discourse. Think of Superfans as a fusion of Patreon, Cameo, Subscribestar, and Instagram, minus all of the judgment. All of my feeds, like YouTube, all sync directly into Superfans. They even have a special agreement with creators like myself, so I have full ownership of my fans and followers, arguably the first platform to ever do that. Head on over to superfans.co/thequartering. Check out my content there, including some of my early original videos. Let me know what you think. Let me know how the site can be improved, and look for other creators that you want to support on Superfans. Now, I created an account there, but if you have a fellow content creator that hasn't yet and they have a Subscribestar or Patreon, it's another great alternative. Now, if we go back to early June, when everybody was trying to get woke by removing police from their programming, you saw that in its 33rd season, Cops, long-running reality show that, quote, glorified police. Yeah, it showed police helping people. That is a huge problem. It didn't glorify them. I never watched it and thought, oh man, these people are deity level worth worshiping. I just like to watch it to get kind of an inside view of what the day-to-day look like. I liked watching some meth heads run around and have, have a little bit of good old-fashioned calamity. That's why I like the show. But yeah, sure, I suppose above all else, the problem with Cops, the reason it got removed in June was because it humanized them, when the mainstream media's narrative was to demonize them. You couldn't possibly have any good things out there. We saw this with Lego removing advertising for their police-themed sets during June. We saw this with Fortnite removing police cars from their video game. Absolute absurdity. Yes, of course. Look, and I've been very clear on this channel. Of course, there are issues with law enforcement, huge ones, starting with their union, all right? But to deny the fact that the overwhelming majority of them are good people who care about serving their community is a huge problem. It's a bigger problem, in my opinion, because just like all these clowns who put ACAB in their Twitter bios, who's the first person they call? Look at all these clowns out in the street rioting. And then when things get bad, who do they call? When all these people are having demonstrations, who do they call to protect their demonstrations? All right. So let's not pretend that there aren't men and women out there who put it on the line every day to protect us. All right. Now, when they canceled the show, I thought, well, maybe it was a ratings thing and they were finally kind of just, they were going to clear it out. They found a good reason to finally clean it out. But no, the cancellation from Fox primetime lineup was a small victory for the color of change in March 2013 until Spike TV picked up the show in May, and it has run on the cable network ever since. It is this person who wrote this article viewed the cancellation of the show Cops as a victory. Now, I wouldn't argue against this point that says the organization argued that though Cops was marketed as unbiased, the show offers a highly filtered version of crime and the justice system, a reality where police are always competent, crime-solving heroes, and where the bad boys get caught. Yeah, I suppose that's a true critique, but at the same time, like, you could just also, and I know this is crazy, this is probably one of those bizarre things that people never really occur to people, but you could just like not watch it. If you're worried about, I want to have an accurate representation of what policing looks like. I don't know. Maybe, I know this is crazy, but maybe you could not like turn on Spike TV and you could do some research if you were actually interested in it. I mean, the argument of these people falls so hilariously short when asked, if they really want, we really want the real news about what's going on with policing in America. Okay, nobody's stopping you from putting up a documentary on YouTube. It's free to do. And I encourage you to do it. And I encourage people to call out the problems in the police force. But hiding it, removing the television series, isn't going to do anything. And to me, and you're welcome to disagree with me, of course, but understand that I acknowledge that there's absolutely problems with policing, but to remove the show is no different than censoring speech, in my opinion. It's and the effect of it. It's not the same as actual censorship, but the idea that hiding something that you don't like, in this case, canceling the television show, is somehow going to do anything to change that thing is absurd. It's like deplatforming content creators. Oh, we got rid of Mr. Jones and now definitely nobody's tuning in. His show's probably as popular as ever. His backing is popular as ever. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody sees his clips on YouTube, all right? Viral clips of police doing good things still happen occasionally. Why not put out a show that counters the Cops narrative? Why not put out a show that breaks it down and says, hey, actually, here's how the case... You could have a whole show called After Cops that followed people who were famously arrested on Cops and actually showed how it affected their life. That might actually be something interesting. You could air it right after Cops. Right? Wouldn't that be... What a great opportunity for someone who wanted to get out there and let people know what was going on. Well, similarly, A&E also canceled their most popular show called Live PD. I think it aired on like Saturday nights. I didn't watch it, but I always saw it trending on Twitter. And guess what happened? Their viewership dropped 50% after canceling Live PD. Ooh, you love to see it. You love to see it. This is what I love. Somebody does some virtue signaling crap like this, and you just tune out. That's what I like. We saw this with, remember Last Man Standing, Tim Allen's show. Tim Allen? That's his name, Tim Allen. He's very openly a conservative comedian, and he was absolutely canceled for that reason, in my opinion. So when the fans said, we won't stand for this, the show was brought back on a different channel. Now, on June 10th, A&E announced that it would be canceling the show Live PD. 6 weeks later, they've seen a steep drop in viewership. The network canceled the show due to ongoing BLM protests. The drop in viewership hints that networks relies on the law enforcement themed TV. According to data from Nielsen's A&E primetime viewership between June 11th and July 19th was 498,000 people. By the way, smash like. I need to grow my viewership. If you're enjoying this coverage, please consider leaving a like on this video. And if you haven't already, there's a red subscribe button down below. Please consider clicking that. That number is 49% less than the period last year. The key demographics of adults 18 to 49 and 25 to 54 declined 55 and 53% respectively. Live PD chronicles police officers as they work in multiple cities. The show averaged 1.9 million viewers on Friday and Saturday night episodes and repeatedly re-aired on other days. The show boasted several spin-offs. The network also canceled in June, which included Live PD Police on Patrol and Live PD Presents PD Cam. At times, the host of the show accounted for 85% of A&E's daily programming for the week. Canceling the shows also hit the network's ad revenue. While the show had low production costs, they brought in $293 million in advertising, according to ad tracking firm Kantar Media in 2019. A&E called the steep drop a temporary hit in ratings, and in a statement to the Wall Street Journal, the network explained that hit most likely had to do with reruns of the show being temporarily replaced for the show and not new content. The network said that it'll be able to find new hits and reinvent ourselves. Most of the popular shows on A&E are related to crimes such as The First 48 and Court Cam on the network has not been canceled. Keep it up. Keep tuning out. I absolutely love to see this. This is what we're supposed to do as consumers. We're not supposed to whine on Twitter about it. We're supposed to just tune out. Look what happened. Look, there were a lot of people that didn't like a lot of the kneeling stuff going on in the NFL, right? Well, you know what happened? Ratings decline. I want to pull that up, actually. So approximately 1,000 American adults participated in a telephone questionnaire on October 2nd through the 3rd, revealed nearly one-third, 32%, are less likely to watch an NFL game due to players taking a stand and protesting the national anthem. 13% want to watch games because of the protests. And you can see Washington Times, this is back in February 2008. Main reason for NFL ratings decline was a slide was player taking a knee protests. And how do you think that's going to go this year when the NFL opens up with the quote-unquote black national anthem? I mean, I thought the national anthem was for everybody. I don't understand this. Look at all the people tuning out of baseball right now. Wait to see what happens in baseball when these players keep taking a knee. I 100% support those players' rights to take their knees and to share their messaging. But along with that, you have to support people realizing that, hey, maybe I don't need to sit around for 6 hours on a Sunday and manage a fantasy football team. Last year was the first year I stopped doing fantasy football, and I was like, holy crap, look at all this extra free time. I can actually spend it with my wife, taking her to a pumpkin farm on a Sunday instead of refreshing constantly my fantasy football team. That isn't a drag on people who play fantasy football. I'm just saying that I was one of those people that I didn't really care for watching political protests during my sport events, so I just tuned out. That's okay. And so the players doing it is also okay. And we'll see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Get woke, go broke, and we'll talk to you again real soon.